Ready. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for our webinar. We're going to have our guest speaker join us in about 2 minutes. So if everyone in the meantime is interested in networking and talking about what deals you have currently, what you're looking to do, which markets you're into, now would be a great time to network. You can use the chat button on the bottom. For those of you who are new, we will have some question and answers. If you have questions in the middle, feel free to type them in the meantime. And by the end of the presentation, we will then go ahead and answer all your questions. So use either the chat box. Now, when you are putting something in the chat and you want to make sure that you are talking to everybody, and if you're trying to network, please make sure that you, instead of selecting all panelists, you do all panelists and attendees. And if it is just and if you are just looking to ask a question and you want it specified to us, feel free to, just do it to all panelists. So we'll wait for a couple minutes, let everybody get together. So we got Tom here. Tom, thank you so much for coming back to our webinar again. He's looking for properties in the Poconos. So anyone who has properties in the Poconos, Tom is looking. Keep him in mind. We got a couple people coming in. He's looking for 3-2 single families. Poconos is a great market, especially if you're into the Airbnbs or if you are into summer rentals or anything like that. That's I'm sorry, winter rentals actually probably does better there. That's definitely a good market. Okay. My bad, Tom. You scratch what I said, guys. It's a terrible market. That's the good thing, and I say that all the time. You probably will hear me say this every single webinar, but it's just that important. That's the real good thing about real estate, is that we all do better when other investors are doing well together, because as a developer or a rehabber, you want to be in an area that's kind of growing. They're going to help your ARVs. So the more it's growing, the better it is for all of us. So that's really, it's really interesting. Whether you're, a different side of the deal, we could work together. Whether you're doing the same side of the deal, we could work together. I mean, lenders work together all the time. Realtors work together. So it's, it's a tight-knit group, a community, as we call it. And we'll get another minute. Okay. Is Tom the only one here looking for deals? We have some people in here. We'd love to hear what you're looking to do, what you're looking to learn, maybe who you're looking to meet. Right now, we don't have the ability to really go out there and meet people face to face, so use this time to network as much as possible. My first event I ever attended, I got a deal out of it. You hear that often, but it is a persistent thing. So you always want to make sure you're networking. You never want to stop. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And there's lots of people here that can bring a lot of value to you and your deals. And it's important to make sure that you know about all of them, so you have them in your toolbox. You may not need them today, but you may need them tomorrow. And you don't want to start looking for somebody when you need them. You want to have them in your toolbox and ready to go. Interesting point, Tom. So you're saying that he's always thought that working with real estate agents doesn't really work. So I guess we're going to find out today what the benefits are and how that's going to help you and your deals. Because I know I usually always have a real estate agent on my team. It's important. I myself am a broker, but I still make sure that I have agents on my team that can help me out. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going, guys? How are you? Sorry for being a little tardy here.
Hey, that's all right. Thank you for being here. We definitely appreciate your time and your all the expertise you're going to be able to bring and knowledge that you're going to share with everybody.
Anytime. Looking forward to it, and thank you for the platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have some people already here. There's some, people already started introducing themselves and who that they're looking for. We have Martin also that says that he's looking for multifamily homes in Pike County in PA. So if anyone is a wholesaler, you found your buyers here. You have two buyers that are ready to find properties. Make sure you're reaching out to them. So Mike, first off, thank you for being here. I guess if you don't mind just introducing yourself a little bit, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what you're looking to share with them today.
Absolutely. Thank you once again. So my name is Mike Gomes. I'm a real estate agent, also a real estate investor. I'm an agent for a company called Signature Realty NJ. We are based out of Springfield, New Jersey and Westfield, New Jersey. I happen to work out of the Westfield office. I was a loan officer from 2003 to about 2009, up until when the market crashed. A lot of things changed. The incentive for being a loan officer wasn't there much for me. So I actually started flipping homes full time, and I already had my license in 2006. So I said, you know what, why not sell my properties that I'm flipping? And, fast forward to today, I became a full-time real estate agent as of about 5 years ago. I still flip as well full time, as Marty knows. I love helping out retail clients as well as investors. Been doing this for a long time. I'm the top producing agent in the Signature Realty for 2 years now in a row. I do approximately about 45 units per year. COVID's been treating us pretty well right now too. So, I bring in a ton of expertise. I've been part of well over 500 transactions from real estate as well as loans, and from on the fix and flip side as well. So I've seen quite a bit. I've been through a lot of already. A lot of deals, a lot of transactions. From big ones to small ones. I specialize in single family predominantly, but we also do multifamily 2 to 4 units. Occasionally, I will dabble in the commercial sector, but that is not my niche.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So you kind of dabbled already in a little bit of everything when it comes to real estate, from the loan side to the purchase side to doing it yourself and being an investor. So that's really awesome that you could have so many different angles to really view a deal and really understand it and see what works. And, you mentioned something really interesting. COVID's been treating you well. You don't hear that so often. And I'm very curious, if you could just elaborate a little bit more on how COVID's been helping you and your business lately.
Yeah, look, if you asked me at the second or third week of March where the real estate market was heading, I was one of many that thought that real estate was going to be highly affected by the coronavirus, and it was March to probably mid-April, and then something very weird started happening, and that was the phone started ringing a lot, and business started picking up. We're representing, all of our listings right now are literally under contract. Anything that we put on the market from end of April till now has literally been under contract within a day or two. And on the buyer side, any buyer that we're representing, any offer we're making on behalf of a buyer, it's multiple bids. It's a bidding war across New Jersey. So what's happening right now, which is something very unprecedented, is that people that live in densely populated areas like New York City, for example, Jersey City, Union City, Fort Lee, Hoboken, they don't want to share a front door with 1,000 people in an apartment complex. So they're moving out. There was an article on CNBC about 2 days ago in which highlighted, condos and co-ops being one of the worst years ever in New York City in terms of sale prices, the worst ever in 30 years. So that paints a very vivid picture for you as far as what's going on. And then you throw in the combination of interest rates being extremely low, people are flocking out of the city to coming into New Jersey and buying a single family home. And if you really think about it, you're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 anywhere from Jersey City to Hoboken to New York City for a very small apartment. You can get a home here for $500,000 to $700,000 and even more, depending on your down payment, for the same price that you're paying rent. And you're sitting on no less than 50 by 100. So your neighbors are nowhere close to you, right? You're 20 feet, 30 feet away from them. You don't have to share the same front door with 1,000 people. So, buyers are, that's the mindset of most buyers. They don't want to be around people right now. So why not come to New Jersey, specifically the suburbs of New Jersey, and take advantage of what's going on?
Absolutely, you're not wrong. I mean, if it were me choosing, I'm always going to follow the value as well. And if I could get for the same price, all that space and quietness, I mean, you could definitely see why people are making the move. Now, you've been saying now that your phone's been ringing off the hook. Are you getting more calls from buyers? You seeing it come from sellers more? Where is the urgency coming from?
It's coming from both sides, more so on the buy side than the seller side. A lot of people, when I mean sellers, a lot of sellers did take their properties off the market right around when coronavirus commenced. And now little by little, you're starting to see a little bit more supply in the market. But what's going on is that there's very little supply and extremely high demand. And that's driven prices up. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but real estate in New Jersey, in certain pockets of New Jersey, Union County, where predominantly where I work out of, Union County, Middlesex County, Morris County, you're seeing appreciation in the last 2 months of anywhere between 3 to 5%, and in some towns even higher. And that's in a matter of 4 to 8 weeks.
Wow. Yeah. Usually markets don't appreciate that well over a year.
It is right now. And any colleague that I speak to that does business down south, they're seeing the same thing. Whether you're down the shore, whether you're in areas like Millstone, whether you're in areas like Morganville, Marlboro, they're seeing exactly the same trend that I'm seeing here. And the reason why people are also not being scared to go farther out south is simply because a lot of companies such as Twitter have told their employees, look, you can work out of home forever. Are you serious? Yeah, forever. And a lot of companies are following suit. So people are saying, look, if I only got to go to the city once a week, twice a week, I'm okay with traveling an hour and a half because I'm home now 3 days a week. So what are they doing? They're buying bigger homes, houses with home offices, because now they're going to be inside the house for a lot longer. So they want to make sure they're in a nice home, a big size house with a big size backyard for the kids. And if the kids are going to be home more often because of everything that's going on with, with education right now, everybody's looking for the same thing: home office, big backyard.
Yep. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable at home than I do anywhere else. So I could only imagine why people want to work from home. And, it makes sense, especially you have more value in it. You could spend more time with your family, your kids, whatever it may be. And now you're not struggling. So, if you ask me, what's more interesting than all of this is how some small things that change in our market and how we as people go about things can change our markets, and how we're seeing it happen in New Jersey. You're definitely not wrong about that. I'm seeing that all the time. I mean, me and my father were looking at some properties in Jersey, and we're getting into bidding wars everywhere we look. When we go into Manhattan, it's a dead zone right now. There's nothing going on. Transactions are very scarce. So, it's really interesting to see how the urban areas are kind of becoming a little bit less populated, and some of the suburban areas are kind of getting more people, which is really good for us in the market, especially for us investors who are focused out in New Jersey. I know a lot of people who may have been a little bit nervous, when they had a property on the market, maybe they were flipping it. They started in January. They didn't know what was going to happen. Am I going to lose my money? Am I going to lose my deal? And, I thank God I heard a lot of good feedback from people saying that they actually got over their asking price, or their ARV was blown out of the water by being in Jersey, just because of the demand that's going on there. So thank you so much for that market update. Now, I guess let's go a little bit more into, our main topic, which is using a real estate agent, is going to be beneficial for your deal, and trying to understand how. Even Tom mentioned, he says he always thought that working with a real estate agent didn't work. And now I would like to, I guess if you could tell us a couple of reasons why it's worthwhile to have a real estate agent on your team, someone that knows the market and could guide you properly.
Yeah, look, as an investor, right, because I wear multiple hats, it's very important to work with a real estate agent for multiple reasons, right? Look, here's the thing. We have more access to data than most investors do because we are real estate agents. So we have access to multiple listing services. So for example, I myself, I have Flex MLS, which is Monmouth County, Ocean County. I have Garden State MLS, which is Essex County, Morris County. And I also have CJ MLS, which is now Rapatoni, which is all of Middlesex County. So I'm privy to a lot of information that most investors aren't, because I'm also a real estate agent. So it's very important to work with somebody like me, because right before you buy something, right, if you're an investor, you can give me a call and say, Mike, look, I'm looking to buy this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom ranch, and here's what I'm looking to do, right? Why don't you tell me what the ARV is once I'm done with my scope of work? And because I have access to that data, and because I also have the expertise and knowledge based on construction scope of work, I can go back to them and say, look, if you do what I think you're going to do, which is update the kitchen, update the bathrooms, do the hardwood floors, paint the house, put HVAC, here's what that house can sell based on the market right now. And what I'm doing currently is I'm actually adjusting a 2 to 3% appreciation for anybody who's buying a house now, or who bought a home a couple of months ago, and I gave them, let's say, a CMA, comparative market analysis back then. Obviously, the market has risen up a lot more. So I'm going to guide you in the right direction. Also, remember, as a real estate agent, we're showing houses to hundreds of buyers within a year or so. So we know what the trends are. We know what buyers want. So a lot of times builders don't understand that part quite well as a real estate agent. But we know, look, we know a buyer wants a white kitchen. We know buyers want open concept. We know that buyers want dark walnut on the hardwood floors for the most part. So we can guide them not only when it comes to the ARV, so they can make a sound decision on whether or not they should be purchasing that property, because the ARV is predicated on whether or not you're going to purchase a flip. But also we can guide you on trends. So that way you can work on your scope of work and understand what you should be doing. Right now, today, this is not the market where you need to overspend in order to sell a house. You can actually underspend and sell a home for higher than list price right now, right? In a different kind of market where there's more supply, you have to overspend in order to attract the buyers to your home. In this market, there's so many buyers per home that you can underspend. You can literally underspend. So if you're on the fence on whether or not you want to fix that roof that's only 10 years old, I'm probably going to advise you, don't do it. You don't have to. You're still going to get a buyer, and you're probably going to get above asking if it's priced well. So there's a lot of things that we can do to guide, the average investor. And I work with a lot of investors. Right now, I'm currently working with approximately about 8 of them. Some who do small construction, small rehabs, to people who are doing $1.5 to $2 million new construction homes in like Milburn. So we understand that. Well, at least myself, I understand, what buyers are thinking, and what sellers and investors are thinking, and I guide them in the right direction. I try to protect your money as much as possible. And that works for me because I wear the same hat as an investor.
Yeah, that's amazing point. I mean, look, sometimes paying a realtor to do something could save you more money in the back end than you would have spent, from beforehand. A roof or anything like that could cost, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, $15,000. And, you don't want to spend on something that is not going to bring you that value back. So that is definitely some awesome points there, Mike.
And my biggest advice to anybody who is a fix and flipper, an investor out there, before you do anything to the house, walk through the home with the real estate agent and tell them what your ideas are. Say, look, I'm planning on doing this, I'm planning on doing that, and bounce those ideas off the real estate agent, because the real estate agent might have really good ideas for you that might either put you in a position to make more money or put you in a position for you to save money, or stop you from making a big mistake. You know how many people don't want to spend an additional $4,000 or $5,000 to add, let's say, a HVAC unit in the house? That's a big mistake. Look, central air conditioning right now is like having a cell phone. It used to be a luxury. It no longer is. It's standard. People want that. Even in a $300,000 home, they expect that to be, the case. Everybody wants central air conditioning. Everybody wants forced hot air. You can get away with baseboard heat as long as you have central AC, but you cannot get away right now in this market. You cannot get away with not having central air conditioning because most people want it. You have to understand, who are the buyers? 70% of the buyers are made up of millennials, and they want central AC. And I don't blame them. I want it too.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't blame them for wanting the standards. So Mike, I guess, tell me this though, you're giving a lot of information, which is really good. Now, if someone is a experienced investor, is it still worth it for them to work with an agent, or is it best for them for only work while they're newbies?
No, it doesn't matter what your experience level is. I mean, there's a lot that a real estate agent brings to the table, whether you're a newbie or experienced. Look, if you're a newbie, you should definitely be working with a real estate agent, right? Because the biggest mistake I see with newbies is that they overbuy. They purchase a property and it wasn't worth it. They spent, $20,000 or $30,000 more than what that property is worth, or they underestimate their construction budget, and that becomes a big problem. And with, here's why, experienced investors should be working with the real estate agents. What do we have right now? We have a surplus of buyers. If you are an investor and you're in the middle of construction, would you not rather pre-sell your property and just have that sanity of knowing that, wow, when I'm done with my project, it's gone. It's going to close within a week or two because we're already under contract. And that's why you want to work with the real estate agent, because more than likely in this type of market right now, especially this type of market, that real estate agent is going to sell your property before it's even done. So think about it. Before you're even done, what does that mean? You save on carrying costs. That means you don't have to wait for the house to hit the market, get photography done, let it sit on the market for a month before you get a contract, and then wait another 2 months for somebody to close. That's an additional 3 months of carrying costs. If you're doing new construction, the carrying costs can be anywhere between $7,000 to $9,000 or even more per month. So look at the amount of money you're saving by working with an experienced real estate agent, right?
Absolutely. You're not wrong about that either. So now wait, you said selling a home before it's done. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
I do that all the time. I do that in a market that's not even in such high demand, right? Look, if you're working with a good agent, that agent's going to call, let's say it's a house in Chatham or a house in Clark. It doesn't matter where it's at, right? We're just using it, for the sake of this conversation. But
sure,
that agent, that's your listing agent, is going to call up all the brokers in the area that he or she has, a good relationship with, and they're going to tell them, look, I know that right now we're experiencing a hard time with supply. I want to let you know about a property that's going to hit the market in about 2 to 3 months. And if you're working with a buyer in which, in which the parameters of this home might fit their criteria, bring them in. Let me show you the plans. Let me show you what it's going to look like. Let me show you a home that my investor already did before, so you can understand the quality of work, so we can make an offer and make that buyer feel comfortable making an offer before it's even done.
That is fantastic, man. I mean, honestly, if I could save all those carrying costs, know that I have the security, I would make that decision automatically, because we all know, and anyone that's done a flip before, that your profits are made in 2 ways. One is in your purchase, making sure that you're getting a good buy, you're not putting too much money into the deal. And the second is making sure that you get in and out of a deal as quickly as possible by using a good contractor that's going to assist you in the process. And if you can get rid of something and save 6, 7, 8, depending on how big your deal is, it's going to be a lot of money each month. And, sometimes I know sellers that'll even say, hey, I'm just going to take less than what the market's worth today just because I want to get it off my hands. So if you can have that done beforehand, and maybe even have a buyer, which they get to choose what they want a little bit, because now you're talking with them while you're in middle, I feel like that only makes the deal a lot easier.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
For sure. So I guess, tell us now, about when it comes to working with an experienced investor, should they be coming to you before they have a deal? Should they be coming to you when they have a deal? At what point is it in their best interest to start communicating?
Well, they should come to me at the commencement of the deal before they do any work, right? Because look, every investor at the end of the day, they look at profit margins, right? And sometimes in this market right now, you can clean up a property and just put it on the market. And yes, you might make a little bit less in terms of dollar revenue, but if you're able to sell a property as is, just clean it up or do very minor work and put it on the market and make $50,000 and only have 1 month of holding costs versus making, let's say, $90,000 but being a project for 9 months, I would much rather, as an investor myself, much rather make $50,000, right, guaranteed after a month than to have to hold on to a property for 6, 9 months to make potentially $90,000, not knowing where the market is going to be in the next 6, 9 months, right? Markets change every 6 months. The market right now might be great, but 6 months from now or 9 months from now, we might be experiencing a different type of market. So why not, I always say, like, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. Why not take a higher return on investment? Because making 50, even though dollar revenue is less, but the return on investment is actually going to be higher. because you're not holding it on for 9 months or 6 months.
Right. Not only that, but you could take that money and put it into your next deal and make more money for you.
Volume.
So I mean, this is all about the pipeline. No matter what side of the deal you're in real estate, it's all about filling the pipeline. If you're an investor, you need properties coming in and going out. If you're a realtor, you need properties going in, going out. And as a lender, every one of us need to keep our pipelines filled. We're not getting rich overnight on one property. We get rich over doing this consistently for a long period of time and doing it right. Correct. So I definitely could appreciate that. So, I mean, tell us a little bit more if there's any other, how else could we use our realtor to benefit us? Is there any other benefits as far as time or any, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, we already went over the time factor, but you know, look, lean on your real estate agent as far as like being a Rolodex. Real estate agents know multiple attorneys, multiple contractors. So look, one of the hardest part about being an investor is working with contractors. You know, I know this from experience because I've had bad times and I've had great times with contractors. So if you're having a difficult time with a contractor, many times because that real estate agent has worked with so many investors and they know a good contractor from a bad one, lean on that real estate agent to let you know, hey, look, I have a good contractor for you. If you're stuck in a jam, use this guy. I've seen his work before. He's a good person. Sorry, guys, I got cats. He's a good person. He's a good contractor. You know, he's honest. And he's reasonable in cost.
That's exactly right. And now, so when it comes to finding deals, is that something that people could come to you for, or are you expecting them to come to you with the deal?
No, look, and that's another benefit of using a real estate agent, right? A lot of real estate agents, you know, we got our ear to the ground, right? We're bootstrapped. Whether people believe that or not, that's the reality. Right, we're driving for dollars a lot of times. We see distressed properties on our way home, on our way to our office. You know, we are market expertise in a specific area. So we are doing driving for dollars. Like myself, I do driving for dollars 2 to 3 times a week. So a lot of times I'm doing it because I want to know if that seller is willing to sell that property. Now, a lot of sellers are scared to put the property on the market because the property is not in good shape. They don't want the neighbors to come in. They're embarrassed. So a lot of times they'll say, hey, are you working with a builder or an investor that's willing to come in here, give me a cash offer? And of course, 9 out of 10 times I'm going to say, yes, I am. And that's a good opportunity for me to call an investor that I'm already working with or an investor that I'm looking to build a rapport with and let them know, look, I have a property or a potential property that might be a good fit for you. You know, let's go there tomorrow at 3 o'clock, take a look at it and make an offer. So lean on a real estate agent to also bring you inventory, not just sell your properties.
Good deals. So we got deals. They can help you analyze your deals, make sure you're not spending too much. You could leverage your time. I'm sure you'd be more than willing to supply people with comps when they need it to make sure that they are getting into a good deal. So again, you know, we talk about leverage a lot. I myself, that's my number one selling point and what I do. I help leverage people's money. But the one thing that's more important than anything is time. I could get money. I could get more properties. I could get tenants. I could get realtors. I could get everything. The one thing I can't get back is time. So it's important to really leverage that, especially if you're looking to grow and scale your business, because you're going to be busy taking care of getting tenants into your properties. You're going to have a maintenance call that you're going to have to get in touch with your property manager about, and all this other stuff that's just going to pile up on your desk. And when it comes to getting those new deals, who's going to be there to help you out?
Exactly.
Hopefully Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For sure. So is there any other topics that you want to cover while we have everyone here, or do you want to just open up for question and answer and hopefully we get some good questions in?
Yeah, look, you know, if you're an investor out there and you want to work with a real estate agent, and there's plenty of real estate agents out there, there's, you know, thousands. I think that in 2020, we have reached the peak level of 2006. We have, you know, well over 50,000 real estate agents just in New Jersey alone. Work with a real estate agent that has, you know, not only market knowledge, but has also flipped properties. And people are going to say, well, are you, maybe I don't want to work with somebody like that because they're going to compete with you. Ask them where they flip. Like I only flip in one specific area. That's it. So I'm not competing with anybody, right? I'm not working with an investor that does Clark. Right. So I'm not competing with anybody. And I tell everybody straight up, look, I only did this area. If there's a deal that's in Westfield, which is a town over, I don't want it. This is the only area. This is all I want, right? And I'm not doing 20 deals a year. So I wouldn't, work with that person, because the reason why it's important to work with somebody that's done a flip before is that they understand that niche, and it is a niche, right? They understand, construction budget. They understand financing. Sometimes financing is probably the most important part of the deal. If you get the wrong financing, it might not work for you. If you get the right financing, a deal that was not a deal before might turn into a deal right now. So work with somebody who has the same experience level as you, right? I always tell people, that are just retail clients, look, don't use a real estate agent who doesn't own a house or who's never owned a home. How can you expect to use a real estate agent to represent you in the biggest purchase of your life if they've never experienced the biggest purchase of their life? They don't know, right? They don't know how nerve-wracking it is. Same thing goes with fixing and flipping. It's nerve-wracking. When I did my first flip, man, I was lost, right? So work with somebody who's going to protect your money like it's their own. So that's why it's important to work with somebody like myself. Look, there's many great real estate agents like myself. I'm not the only one. So make sure you vet them, or vet them perfectly, vet them carefully, understand exactly what type of background they come from.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those licenses which is just so easy to get. As investors, we get our license. Just a real estate, you want to hold it, you want to have it. As a person, most people say, "Oh, I want to get involved in real estate. I'm going to get my real estate license." But practicing real estate and getting a license are two different things, completely different things. One is just understanding what the laws are and how things work. And one is actually feeling the market, seeing the market, hearing the market, being able to talk to the market and has their pulse on the market, and being able to help you and guide you through. So
very important that you said pulse. You need to have a pulse in this market. You have to, right? Look, and I'll explain to you why. The markets are not going to be the same as it is today, right? That's why it's called a market, right? There's a market cycle, right? For those who think it's never going to come down, well, let me tell you, everybody in 2005 thought the same exact thing, right? And then 2007 and 8 happened. Look, I'm not saying that we're going to experience another market crash very similar to it, but we might. If I had the crystal ball, which I don't, I think we actually experienced a market crash worse than 2007. But the beauty of real estate is that you can make money in any type of market. It does not matter. You just need to be ahead of the trend. You need to follow the momentum, and you need to re-strategize.
Keeping the pulse on the market and being able to shift is what's going to help you do that.
Correct.
I'm so happy to hear that. So guys, anyone else that has questions, we'd love to hear it. Please, we have the Q&A section on the bottom. You also have the chat box. Feel free to send in your question. We'd love to hear them and be able to answer them for you.
I want to, add something in there too, guys. For the people that are afraid to use a realtor, like Mike said, he's got your best interest because he wants that listing. So he's going to look out for the highest after repair value. And like Mike said, putting in the least amount in right now during these times where it could sell quickly, hopefully pre-sell it or sell it at the right time. But he's got your best interest because he wants to list it. So the higher the ARV, the higher, he's going to make and everybody's going to make on the deal. And I mean, as an investor myself, I use realtors all the time because if they know the market and they're responsible to call me and they know their market and they're like, you said the cycle turns, which is very important to know. So I just want to say realtors are your best tools. And I know a lot of investors are afraid to use them, but they are, want to believe it or not, your best tools.
Yep. I know a lot of the time someone as a new realtor, it may be hard to get involved and it may be difficult and they try to really push themselves out there, but obviously you can tell right away what you're working with and who you're working with. Ask good questions, make sure that you're understanding what they know, what they don't know, and can guide you through that type of transaction properly. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen people that I'm sure everyone's seen a discount realtor out there where they'll say, hey, I'll sell your property for 1%, right? I'm going to save you 5% right off the bat. It's worth it to use me. But they're only doing that because they don't even care about their own money. If they don't care about their money, what makes you think that they're going to care about your money, right? If I don't care about my own, I'm not going to care about you. So find someone who cares about it and they will find other ways to make up that difference. I can guarantee you that. Whether it's spending less money, getting more money in a different way, they will save you that money and it will come back around full circle. And, you know, many people I'm sure have tried it and many people have now using realtors, and I would highly suggest it. So it
And just
looks
to,
like,
you know,
yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing I want to say also, you know, like, right, you know, a good realtor, like Mike said, you know, there's 50,000 of them in New Jersey, which I'm shocked, but I'm working right now with 3 realtors. One of them calls me back and emails me almost every single day. That's a person that I want to work with, where I just went driving 2 days ago to find, I saw a house listing and I called my broker and she still hasn't called me back yet. So who do you want to work with? Of course, knowledge of the area, you know, the listing pricing, and of course the after repair value. But working with the broker who's going to respond back to you in time also is very important. I'm sure you'll agree with that, Mike, also. And I know, Mike, when I reach Mike, I could never reach him because he is 24/7 on the road doing what he's doing. And finding, you know, people think they're only going to retail, but like Mike said, when he's driving for dollars, he's looking for property listings for you guys, the investors. Whether you're a home buyer, whether you're an end user, whether you're an investor, he's looking for his inventory, which is driving by. And that's very smart, because that's how you find off-market deals even. So people just think they're paying retail, and it's not always the case.
Definitely not. Definitely not. You know, in my experience, any time that a deal has ever died on me, there's about a 90% chance that it was because of time. Time does kill all deals. So being able to have someone that could respond to you, get you the information you need that's accurate and quickly is extremely important. So we got a question for you, Mike, from Ali. So he's asking, as a newer realtor, what do you recommend he does in order to get in touch with more investors and maybe meet them and build a relationship?
Excellent question. So what do investors want? They want deals. So what do? Start picking up the phone, start calling pre-foreclosures. How do you do that? That's simple. You know, go on the county website. You can actually pull list pendants list. You can actually go on the sheriff's sale list and see who's getting foreclosed 2-3 months out and start calling those people. How do you get their numbers? Well, that's not that hard. Get white pages and cross-reference their address, and you'll get the name of the person that lives there and their telephone number. You could also use a site called njactb as in boy.org to find out who owns a property in which they are in mortgage default. Call those people, try to negotiate a short sale. Explain to them exactly what is the benefit of using a real estate agent to do a short sale versus allowing the home to go into foreclosure. Foreclosure stays on your record for over 7 years. A short sale is on your record, but it's after 2 years. If you wanted to go buy a new home, you could buy another house. And more than 90% of people who've done a short sale in the past are willing to become a homeowner again. So there is much more of an adverse effect of letting your home go into foreclosure than doing a short sale, believe it or not. Your credit actually gets more affected by not making your payment to your credit cards than actually missing mortgage payments. So that's actually a pretty fascinating thing. So call up people that are losing their houses, give them some value proposition. And once you have that deal locked in and you're negotiating a short sale with the bank and you have, a short payoff already negotiated with the lender or the servicing company, you can now call up whoever you want and say, look, I got a deal. You could probably make about $60,000, $70,000. It's in Roosevelt Park. It's this, that, and the other. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Here's what you need. You need to, do the floors, the kitchen, the bathrooms, and you could sell for this price, right? Who's not going to answer your phone after that? Everybody, right? You have 5 of those in a pipeline, right? Call 5 different investors. And you have 5 different relationships with those investors.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for that. So Robert wants to know, Mike, if you are taking on new clients and investors. You did respond back, but it was not to the attendees. So I'll go ahead and send your email address now for everybody to see it. Is there any other way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so look, I am working with other investors and I'm willing to take on more investors, but I have to vet you also, and I have to see, what type of value I can bring to you. And at the same time, I need to know what type of value you're going to be able to bring to me, right? I need to understand your level of expertise, your knowledge, to see if I'm willing to spend more time with another person. If it's a newbie investor, right, that it takes time to nurture that person, groom them, make them understand how the market works. And right now, with all due respect, we are very busy. and I can't take on another investor that's a newbie. But if it's a seasoned investor that's well capitalized, I'm willing to work with them because it requires less of my time with them.
Absolutely. Do you have teammates that you can introduce these newbies to that could help educate them and maybe help them learn more so that when they are ready, they can reach out to you?
Yeah. Look, if they want to learn, right, I have a Facebook group that they can go on, and every Saturday rather, and every Wednesday, I put out content for them. So if they want to join that Facebook group to learn, I'm willing to take you on. But to look for deals for you, and you're not well capitalized yet, you don't work with a hard money lender like Marty or you guys at Express Capital, that's a different story. But if you want to learn, you can go on Power of Real Estate with Mike Gomes on Facebook. It's called Power of Real Estate with Mike Gomes. And I put up content there that's going to make you a more seasoned and more knowledgeable investor the following day. You're going to learn from my content. But as far as taking you on and getting you deals, right now I just have enough deals for the people that I'm working with now.
Understood. Well, thank you so much for that. And guys, I put the name of his Facebook group in the comments, so please do check it out. There's a lot of good content there that you could learn. For those that are new and looking to get involved in real estate, this is the time to learn quickly because we are getting into a good market. We're getting into an opportunity zone. I can't tell you as a lender, it sounds like you're getting the same calls as we are, in a sense, of people that were alive through 2007, 08. They saw what happened. They saw how wealthy people got, and they don't want to lose this opportunity. And everyone right now is trying to seize it. So learn, get your pre-approval, speak with your lender, find a realtor that you can work with, find all your teammates, set that up so that you can be successful and be involved in this next era of real estate.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, it's okay also if you want to partner up with somebody. If you don't have the experience, right? People go to school, go to college, and they pay $40,000, $30,000 a year, $100,000 for college education. If you don't have the experience, shadow somebody who does, right? Even if you have to pay that person with time, barter, right? See what that person needs. If you have to run errands for that person 2-3 hours a day, do that as a newbie investor, because you're going to gain knowledge. The knowledge is on the field, right? Sitting with contractors, looking at plans, watching how a home progresses and transition, right? So do that, but you're going to gain so much knowledge and experience, and all you have to do is just barter your time. And most guys are not going to say no to you. They're going to say, yeah, of course.
Very well said, guys. Just remember, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he lives forever. So definitely the education will go a very long way. It'll assist you, making sure that you know what you're doing. You get to the level of experience you need to be able to grow yourself and on your own. And if you do need partners, you are looking for someone to joint venture with, reach out to us. We speak with people every day that are looking to do more deals, whether they're experienced and looking for people with capital that are looking for people with experience, and so many other different versions. So reach out to Mike, reach out to ourselves. We'd be happy to pre-approve you. Mike would be happy to, if you're an experienced investor right now, to help you find deals, get your deals sold. If you have a property that needs to go on the market, Mike is definitely your guy to speak to. They speak to buyers all day long, and they are ready to help you. Well, I guess if we have no more questions, I'll give a couple more seconds, but if we have no more, I guess we'll let everyone have a wonderful night, and thank everyone so much for coming.
Any more questions or no?
Looks like not. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Mike, thank you so much for all of your knowledge that you just shared with us tonight and explaining to us, what the benefits are working with the realtor, and even you shed so much nuggets tonight just on little things. If anyone was paying attention, if you're doing a rehab right now, he kind of told you exactly what buyers want to see even already. So use it, speak to him, speak to other people in the market, find your team, and happy investing, everybody. Thank you so much.
I just want to ask a question. Maybe this is a good question for everybody to understand. Mike, what is your input on the market now when they're coming to a recession? How should investors or even owner-occupied, individuals, what is your thoughts on this next 2 years of a recession and with the pandemic that hit?
Don't do big projects. So I'm scaling down. I'm not doing ad levels anymore. I'm going to get into stuff that I can move within 2 to 3 months, right? Small cleanups, small $50,000 renovations, nothing bigger than that. Stuff that you can move, where you're not going to be caught on the shift of the market. I do think that, you know, because of COVID-19, I think by next year or even the third or fourth quarter of this year, you're going to start seeing some changes in the economy, right? GDP is not going to be as strong anymore. Consumer spending is going to decrease a little bit. The only reason why consumer spending is still good is because people are actually making more money sitting at home collecting unemployment, and that's a fact. So once the $600 CARES Act goes away, which, you know, the Secretary of Treasury of the U.S. made it very clear that is going to go away because that is a big problem right now. You're going to start seeing, you know, the markets contracting. You know, you're not going to see as much money supply there. So start getting ready. We will be going into a recession. And that recession might last a longer time than what people believe it will. You know, I think the next year or two, people that put themselves in a forbearance that did it because, you know, either they want to take advantage of it or not take advantage because they really had to because they lost their jobs. You know, you're not going to see the effects of that for another year or two when it comes to foreclosures. So I guarantee you that foreclosures will start to climb up in the next 2 to 3 years. That means an opportunity for us, but you have to be very careful. You know, be careful with the new construction homes. Be careful with the luxury market. Look, when you get into the luxury market, the buyer pool goes from this to this. It shrinks. There's less people that can afford those type of homes. So if you're gonna start flipping or continue to flip in this market, or when the market starts to change a little bit more, make sure you're in a price point where you have more buyer pool, right? Because you're going to be affected a lot less. So if the strong point or the niche is 300 to 500, stay within that price parameter. Don't think that, you know, the economy is going to do better now, you know, in a year than it is now, because it's not. You know, it's not. Look, you know, the Federal Reserve has more money now on their balance sheet, meaning losses. They're carrying a lot more debt than ever before. So you have to be very, very, very careful how you approach the market in the next 12 to 24 months.
But I'm sure you'll agree with this pandemic and the forbearances and the deferments is going to be, and like you said, the foreclosures, there's going to be a lot more opportunities out there of property listings. It'll be back to a buyer's market again.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to that because I will tell you that wealth is built, you know, during recessions.
Right.
You know, if you look at people that were smart, that have pulsed in the market from 2009 to 2000, you know, up until now, they made their money. If they were buying and holding, whatever they bought in 2009 to like 2013, even 14, they probably made over 200% appreciation. So just keep in mind, you know, I think Warren Buffett says it best, you know, be fearful of those who are greedy and greedy of, be fearful of those who are greedy and greedy of those who are fearful, right? Something along those lines. So.
Yep.
And when there's uncertainty, there's opportunity. And when there's a recession, there's going to be millionaires made. That's my philosophy.
That's the beauty of real estate, right? The beauty of real estate, it doesn't matter what market you're in. It does not matter. You can make money in any market.
Yeah, and it's unlike the stocks, whereas you could lose your money in a day and you could lose 100% of your money, where real estate is always here to stay. It may go down 5, 10, 15%, but it's going to always go back up.
Still an asset. Yep,
Right?
still an asset.
It's a hard asset.
We don't grow more land. Land is all limited.
Yep.
For sure. Well, I guess I will ask one more follow-up to that, because you mentioned something that was actually pretty interesting, that, you know, right now there's no courts open. You can't get evicted from a property in some places. You can't get kicked out of your house if you're going through a foreclosure right now. So the courts are about to be backed up. And as you said, it's probably going to take about 2 to 3 years for this to take a full effect. But what happens to the market when there's an influx of short sales, foreclosures, and people that just need to get out quick?
Yeah, I mean, you'll start seeing prices come down, right? When supply starts inundating the market, demand becomes lower and prices will, you know, drive down. Like when you look at 2009, 2010, right? Homes were still selling. They were just selling at a much lower price. People still need to sell. Remember, New Jersey has a lot of baby boomers as well, right? So, you know, a lot of these baby boomers, you know, unfortunately, they either get ill or financially they're just not capable of surviving in New Jersey because it's very expensive. They need to sell. So at that point, people start selling out of fear, right? So they got to get out, right? So you're gonna see a good influx of supply coming into the market soon, and you're gonna start seeing demand coming down and prices coming down with it.
Very well said.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Right. Yeah, I personally agree with you. I see that. I know that it's going to happen. There's a lot of people that are not going to be able to make those balloon payments. A lot of people, unfortunately, their parents passed away or someone in the family passed away, maybe the moneymaker. They can't keep up with their payments. It's very unfortunate, but there is going to be a lot of people that just can't keep up with it and are going to have to find somewhere that's easier for them to live, more manageable.
Yeah.
And people might just be downsizing out of fear or wherever it is. And some people are making a ton of money right now.
Yes,
Some
that's
people
true.
are absolutely killing it. And with that being said, they're going to look for their second home and their fourth home or wherever it may be. So keep your eyes out. I'm so happy to hear it from you guys. Thank you so much for all the knowledge. Again, thank you everyone for your attendees and being here and investing in yourself and your own knowledge. And we'll see you next time on our webinar. Thank you so much.
Wait. Just if anyone needs to.
Wait, you're muted.
So does Mike have his information on the bottom, his phone number, his email? Anybody wants to reach him?
Yes, his email is in the chat box. If anyone wants to reach out to him, please feel free to send him an email. And we are going to follow up tomorrow with an email with a recording of this webinar. So if you missed something or you want to hear it again, you'll definitely be able to. It'll be on our YouTube channel as well. And we'll also include Mike's contact and our contact should you need a pre-approval or you want to speak to Mike about a deal that you have and wanted to give you need an opinion. So you'll be able to reach all of us through that email.
Great. And how does everybody reach us?
They can reach us at 718-285-0806, or they can email us at info@expresscapitalfinancing.com. Again, that's info@expresscapitalfinancing.com. Mike, if you just want to share your contact one more time.
Yeah, Mike Gomes, Signature Realty NJ here. You can reach me by emailing me at realestatesoldbyme@gmail.com. Or if it's easier, Michael@MichaelGomes, that's GOMES.com. Michael@MichaelGomes, like in Holmes with a G.com. And my telephone number is 201-757-4760. That's 201-757-4760.
And
Thank you
just
guys.
one more thing to everybody, we're not just a hard money lender, we also are a non-bank mortgage lender for the investors or looking to, keep their properties. We do portfolios, and we're a non-bank mortgage lender, stated income, no doc. So give us a call if you have any questions about your deals as well too. And you call us if you need proof of funds because Michael's going to ask you for that. So that's very important too when you're doing your investments and your research.
Absolutely.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Well, happy investing.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day.
You too. All the best.